let's focus on what this term will be given this. All right, so 2ab is going to be 2 times that times that. Let's write that out. First of all, it's all summed over this x, over these individual data points. Two times xi minus, remember this is an individual data point minus its group mean, times that group mean minus the grand mean. So this is just this 2ab. This is what the 2ab equals. And my contention was that this is actually 0. So why is that? So let's focus on the particular data points within one group. Okay, so we'll just focus on one group for right now. And we're going to focus on what happens we're going to sort of break apart this term for that group. So for this particular, so right now let's ignore any other groups. We're just focusing on what this term will do for one specific group, and then what it does for that group will actually hold for the other groups. So if you have one specific group, then notice that this xi minus x, we want to focus on what is xi minus the mean of that group. So if you have a bunch of data points in a particular group, well, maybe the best way to do this is with an example. Let's say we have a bunch of data points in a group, and let's say those data points are, just for the sake of example, let's say those data points are 3, 5, 7, and 9. So these are going to be our xi in that group. All right? So if you look at these, the mean of this, so in this case, for this particular group, this mean is going to be 6. You have 8 here, you have 15 there, you have 24, 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now let's think about what this term is for this example. So we have 2, just working with 3 first, 2 times 3 times, well, I guess I was going to write down this term, but in this case we know what xg is, it's 6, so I'll just write 6 minus x bar total. Remember, this x bar total has the other groups in it. We're just focusing on one group now. Plus 2 times, sorry, ooh, I made a mistake. Look, this shouldn't be 3. This should be 3 minus 6, so this should be negative 3. Excuse me. We're focusing on the first one. So now this is going to be 2 times 5 minus 6, so negative 1 times 6 minus x bar total, plus 2 times 7 minus 6, so 1 times 6 minus x bar total, plus 2 times 9 minus 6 is 3 times 6 minus x bar total. All right, so for that particular group, if this were my group, when we expand this out for that group, it would look like this. But now look what we have here. In each term, we have a 2 and a 6 minus x bar total. Because we were really just iterating over these, we kept these the same. But let's use the distributive property to break those apart. So we have 2 times 6 minus x bar total times negative 3 plus negative 1 plus 1 plus 3. And this is 0. So why is it 0? It's because that's the definition of a mean. A mean, you add all these up. Well, when you add this thing up, when you have individual data points and you subtract the mean and you add all those up, you'll get 0, because the mean is sort of the middle. It's the centroid of all this. That just comes from the definition of a mean. So here I chose these numbers, and the mean was 6. But whatever numbers you put in here, you should just try it. Just get a bunch of random numbers, find the mean, and then just calculate this for it. Take the sum of every point minus the mean, and you'll find that they add up to 0. And so what happens is that this term, this whole thing, becomes 0 when you're summing up within the group, right? So that's why this 2ab drops out, and you're left with just a squared plus b squared. This sum of squares total, you're left with the sum of squares within groups and the sum of squares between groups.